and I'll be coming around to see how you all went with that. But today's work, this is a bit different, okay? So this will be a nice little breath of fresh air. We're looking at the Cartesian plane today. So, the Cartesian plane, or we sometimes call it a number plane, uses two axes. It has an X, so put an X in there, and a Y axis. Guys, we should stop talking, please. So if you look just below down here, you'll see the little X here on the side, and that line as you go across, that is known as the X axis. So it's the horizontal one. And the vertical line going down here that I'm doing in green, you can see a Y on that one. That is the Y axis. So X horizontal, Y is the vertical. Okay? Both sets of axes include positive and negative numbers. And you can see that when you look at my x-axis there, you can see the 0 in the center, and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as you go out to the right. And then the negative numbers, -1, -2, -3, all your negative numbers on the left. So that's why this is in our integers topic, because it's using our positive and our negative integers. Okay? And the same thing for the y-axis. The positive ones go up, so your positive numbers counting up, and the negative numbers as you go down on the y-axis. Any point that is plotted on this plane has an x and a y coordinate. Which is written as, and it has in brackets. Now you're not going to write x and y, you're going to write the number. So x might be 2, the x number might be 2, and the y number might be 3. So you go 2, 3. They should be in brackets with that comma in between them. The point 0, 0 is a special one because it's right at the center of our Cartesian plane, and it is called the origin. And a lot of the time you will see a big O or a 0 right in the center because that is the origin, the center. We also number our quadrants, and you need to know the order. They are starting in the top right-hand corner. That is your first quadrant. And then you go anti-clockwise around from there. So second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant. So I could give you a point, and I'll say, what quadrant is that in? And you need to tell me quadrant 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay? So there's two main types of questions that we're going to practice. Question number 1 here is the first type, is where I give you the Cartesian plane with some points on it, and you have to write down what the points are. Okay? So on the side here, you'll see A, B, C, and D. They're the ones that we want to write the points for. So I'm going to start with A. A is over here. Okay, I've highlighted. There's A. Now it's not the letter A so much as it's the red dot that's next to it. Okay, so it's that red dot. Now for that red dot, we want to know the X number. So the X number is this one down here. So it's above the 1. Okay, so the X value is a 1. And the Y value is going across to the Y-axis, which in this case also happens to be a 1. Okay, so you read the X number first, and then you read the Y number. Always written in brackets with a comma. Okay, let's do B. So B is down here. First of all, I need the X value. So that is here, up here. You can see drawing my little line here. That is at the number 3. So the X is 3, comma. The Y number, you don't need to draw the lines, but you need to come across here and you go, oh, that's at the -2. Okay, so if X is 3, Y is -2. Now let's find the C. So C down the bottom here. X numbers first, so X is up here, it's at -2. And then across to the Y number, which is -4. And D, up the top here, the X number, go down here, we go the X axis, it's at -3. and the y number is a positive 3. Any problems with that?
No.
No, you've done that before? Wonderful. On the next page, question number 2 is doing the reverse. I'm giving you the points and you've got to plot them. Now, there is an extra catch here, is that I haven't given you a grid to start with, so we have to draw that. So, your ruler, which you will all have, with your ruler, as best you can, try and find the center. Quietly, please. So with your ruler, draw a nice big line horizontally through the center of that grid. Then move your ruler 90 degrees and try to find the center line again. And vertically. Now we need to put all the numbers on there. Remember that 0 is the center. On my x-axis, and label your x on the end. You should always have a label on there. We usually put it on the right side. Just a standard thing we do. As you go from the 0, we count 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that is on the lines. Okay, now sometimes I write them slightly beside the line because if I write them on the line you can't see them very well. But the 1 is that first line, the 2 is the second line, 3 is the third line, and so on. And then as you go to the left, we count our negative numbers. So -1, -2, -3, -4. Again, on those lines. The y-axis, you'll need a y up the top there. And we count our positive numbers as we go up. So 1, 2, 3, 4 as we go up. And then negative numbers down. -1, -2, -3, -4. All right, so once you've got that all nicely drawn, we're going to plot those points on there. I'll give you a second to make sure your grid's all finished. I see some of you still finishing that off. All right, first point is 2, 4. Now the 2, remember, is the x-axis. So you're coming along here on your x-axis. You always start on this horizontal one, and we find the 2. There's the 2. The 4 is the y. It's going up and down. So 4 is positive number, so we come up to the 4, and we put a dot or a cross. I don't mind which one. You can do a dot or a cross at that point. It's on the grid. Okay, I don't want to see any ones in between. They're on the lines. Okay. It's probably often better to use a cross because if you do your dot too small, then you can't see it. It's either a really big dot or a cross, okay? And label that with the letter A because that was A here. So A. We've done our first one. Now we're going to do B over here. So it's -2, 3. So -2, always start with the X. X-axis, come across to -2. Then we go up to 3. 3 is up here, right there, and we put another cross. -2, I'll do it again here. 3, put a cross, and the letter B. C is it is at -3, -2. So again, x-axis. -3 is the first number, so -3. Now, -2 for the y value means I need to go down to -2 here and put a cross right there. -3, -2, and label it. Don't forget to label it. That's C. And the last one, 3, -1. So x-axis, we go to 3. And then again, it's -1. So we go down to -1 and we put a cross there. 3, -1, put a cross and label it the point D. Now for practice, let's see who can remember. The point B is in which quadrant? First, second, third, or fourth? Second, perfect. The point D is in which quadrant, Ronan?
Quadrant 4.
Correct. Point A is in which quadrant? Yeah, at the back. Yep. A, which quadrant? 1, perfect. And C is in, Ava?
3.
The third, good. So that is it today, just putting stuff on your Cartesian plane. Get your work booklet out for me, please.